the weapons, collective edge. This is a good view of all the knives. I've got different selections of all the different styles that I had here. Like I say, these are all liner locks and frame locks. They have the same type of mechanism locking them, putting a piece behind the blade so that it can't close on your hand. But they're just all a variety that I wanted to show. Welcome to the Weapons Collective Edge. Today we are going to go over liner locks and frame locks. So got a spring assisted on this one, spring assisted on this one also. This one's also spring assisted. This one isn't. That one's more of a crambit. This one just is lock, frame lock, and this one is also, it's got a button push, and it's kind of large. But so there's the ones I was going to show. And for the main part, I've got a couple of ones that I don't really care for, but they really show the action. And one's got a frame lock, which I don't have very many of. These are my two frame locks. And so I wanted to go over a couple different varieties to show you. First one we're going to start with is this little skeleton motorcycle. It's cast iron or cast metal on the handle, stainless steel blade. But the reason I wanted to show it was it shows the liner lock real well. It really comes across the blade, so it really locks it in place. You can see it's just mounted on the inside right through there, but it really springs across, and you have to get a lot of it out of the way so that you can close your blade. Other than that, I don't really care for this knife, but I've got a link to it if anybody's interested. It is kind of cool looking. But yeah, it really showed that liner lock right in there. And that was part of the video of showing what liner locks are. And that shows a really good example of how one really can kick over, gets in the way so that this will not close on your hand. So liner locks, as we went through all these, liner locks have inside the liner. So inside here, right through the center, in this case there's G10 handles on both sides, then some stainless steel plates, and then inside is your actual lever right in there, and that is your liner lock. So in this case we get right up here, that's what gets out of the way so we can fold it back up and it gets in the way so you don't shut the blade on yourself. So this one here, this is a Massillon D10 and a karambit style. This one's got some serrated edge to it. I've got a link to another one, still made by Massillon, still D2, but didn't have the serrations. I couldn't find this exact knife anymore after I bought it. But it does have a good action to where you can pull it open real easy. And it also has a hole, so you can do the same thing. But a decent knife, D2 is nice, and made by Massillon. So I really do like this knife, and I'm hoping that the style that I have a link to is just as good, which I still think it is. And even this blade style, I like the link one better than this blade style here. So that was the Massillon. So this is the TAC Force, and it is the model number is TF848, and stainless steel blade, 3CR13. And it has a titanium nitride coating on the outside of the blade and the handle. But this is a frame lock. So if you see here, the actual frame, the outside of it, has a little bit of relief here so that this can fold down. And that is pushed over so you can close it, or when you open it, it pops in place and locks you up right in there, so that you don't fold the blade on yourself. This one actually has a lever on the back side, assisted opening, It's nice size. It's a little bit heavy. The metal on this is pretty thick, so it feels nice and durable. It's a stainless steel, but with the coating on the outside, it isn't just silver. The blade edge, decently sharp. Not the greatest, but not too bad. The grind lines are decent. But what I liked about this was the frame lock. I don't have too many frame locks, and usually it's a liner lock like I showed you the other ones, where this one actually uses part of the frame, so you don't have that extra little piece added in there. It just uses the actual outside of the handle as it. And it works pretty nice. I really like it. It keeps less parts that you have to deal with. And the assisted opening, the little spring that's in there, it really does kick it out there nice. So, nice overall knife. Like I say, this one here is stainless steel, and I will put a link up to it. TAC Force. This knife is the MTech, and this is a assisted opening also. Push on the back of here, and a little spring inside wound in here assists you in opening it. Blade is a little on the dull side now that I've abused it. I used it for some tactical stuff, cutting cardboard, and really dulled it up, but it came pretty sharp. The model number on this is MTA930, and it says a USA design, stainless steel. So it does have a nice feature to it, that it has that assisted opening, which you can see is part of the blade. This isn't just an external lever, it's actually part of the blade. And handle, I've got plastic on the outside, metal on the inside. Again, that liner lock right inside there. So that liner lock, we pull that over and we can close. Pull it open. And it doesn't kick over quite as much as some of the others that I've shown. So that's why I don't really prefer this one as far as the liner lock. But the blade style is nice. It's comfortable in the hand. But I have a link to one very similar to it. I could not find this exact design with the blue blade and quite the same exact handle. But MTech seems to switch around their designs a lot, which gives you a lot of unique features every time you go to get maybe another one if you like MTech. But if you want to find the same one, sometimes it's a little harder to find. But I've got a link to as close as I could find that's similar to this one. But that's an MTech, and the design is nice. I like the form fit in the handle. So the link that I have, I tried to get pretty much the same. Blade style, the drop point, decent. So MTech, ballistic. Now the other liner lock that I've got here, if you can see it, is this big piece on the outside is its liner lock. It has a little notch here to weaken it so that it folds over. And it really goes all the way to the other side. Fold it out of the way and you can close it. Open it back up. And as we get just to the point where it breaks past it, clicks over. So it has a good action that closes right on top of that notch so that you lock it in place. What I don't like is the design. It's not that great. It's got a little fake, or not a fake, but a tiny little throwing star in here, if I can even get it out, like that. Kind of silly, but it is what it is. I got it with a big batch of other knives, so I didn't purchase it on purpose, but it was one of my 2 liner locks. The other liner lock I purchased on purpose, and this one I did not. But it gave a good example where we could see the liner lock, see that it's part of the frame and not part of an insert that gets in there. And it really kicks over well to lock that in place. So I don't have a link to this one, and I'm not sure anybody would want it. It's loose and sloppy, but it did show the frame lock very well. The last one I've got to show is this one here. Again, assisted opening. Clicks open real nice. It's a Hom RoR, and it is very heavy. This design is extra thick right through here. I want to say, I don't know, 6-8 ounces maybe, almost half a pound. It's pretty heavy duty. I used it a lot for cutting cardboard, doing slashing and stuff like that to test out the geometry of the blade. It was so sturdy that I used it for that, which it's still relatively sharp. And then your serrated areas here, this will always stay sharp enough to cut things like rope and things like that. The blade style, go through and look at that. It's got some holes in it, but not in a real key area where you're going to really danger breaking the knife. The assisted opening, very responsive, extra heavy on the handle. It's got a spot here to mount a lanyard. I've got a link to this, and this one is 440 stainless. Blade geometry is nice. I like the slight slope on here, not really a drop point, almost a spear point I want to say, but a decent knife. And again, that's what we're after, is the liner lock. So right in there, the liner lock comes to about halfway point, and that is pretty decent for keeping that from closing on your hand. Liner locks are nice, I think, because in this case, when I want to release this, a regular lockback, I always had to come back here, push on the button, fold it up. It was a little harder. Liner lock you can still kind of do right in your hand while you're holding it. So I'm in here and I want to close it. I can close it right there. So it can drop right off. If we get one that's not assisted, same thing. Got a frame lock, same thing. So there's all the knives. Go through each one, picture of them, and not really in particular anyone is more special than the other. I just had a variation on being able to see your liner locks and your frame locks so that you can see how they're locking. That was the main emphasis on this video. And I prefer this one and this one with a second running on this one. So just on this selection of knives. But it really was emphasizing those liners and those frame locks. But if you like this, please subscribe, and I will catch you later.